Hello my friends, welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be looking at the Kia Telluride X-Line. This is the mid-cycle refresh for the Telluride. Not a lot has changed. They've tinkered with some of the bits and pieces, etc. But much like the Palisade, which I looked at recently, your big changes come all the way up front. So you get a new grille, they changed the headlights, and really, that's about it. You don't get the impressive grille of the Palisade. You get really something that's kind of sedate. I think I prefer the new grille on the Palisade, to be honest. I know it's a little toothy for some people, but I do think that would be my preference. That being said, this is certainly not an ugly grille, and I think it's a nice improvement. You also, one big difference, now this is the thing with the Palisade versus the Telluride. And it may be a small thing for some people. For me, it's not. It's actually a pretty big deal. You get on the Telluride this cladding almost all the way around the car, as you can see. And it extends all the way around the back. I'm going to get my steps in today. And then continues down the other side. And again, all the way out to the front. Now, this cladding, you ask yourself, what's the problem, Tracy? How can that possibly be an issue? This is just bare plastic. And over time, that will fade. And it will be very difficult to get it to look good. I'm sort of an enthusiastic amateur detailer, and I much prefer painted surfaces. They last a lot longer, they look better. This is on so many cars, it's not even funny anymore. And sometimes, like on the new Subarus, they're huge, right? It's subtle here, and it is what it is, but I don't like it. On the Palisade, you get fully painted, especially when you're comparing top trims. You get fully painted cladding along the sides, and I think that's a better looking option. Before we go inside, we are going to pop this thing open. Power lift gate, of course, which is nice. Now, this is the 7-seater arrangement. You can see the second row there. I'm sorry, it's kind of dark today. As usual, another miserable day when we're out trying to get filming done. But you do get your 7-pass setup. In the Palisade, I know this is kind of gonna turn into a comparison video, but it is important. You got a powered third row, so up, down, etc. It was really useful. Another huge perk of that particular vehicle. In this one, you just get, you pull and drop, pull and drop. You do get the second row drop buttons, which is, well, it didn't do it the first time I did that, but ideally it's supposed to lay down flat. And then you have a flat floor for whatever it is that you picked up at IKEA. So, and that works fine. All of it is manual pull up and down, etc. So yeah, a bit of a disappointment. I don't know why they would not include that in this particular vehicle. That powered third row, believe it or not, is quite useful. So the fact that it's not here is a bit of a disappointment. And that now brings us to the second row itself. So second row, easy step in, of course. You get, I'll leave the door open because it's paused raining for, well, mostly for the moment. You get ventilated seats, heated seats, contained actually quite conveniently right on the door. You get window shades, of course, which are more convenient than you might imagine. And plenty of leg room, lots of headroom. You can't see my head, but trust me, there's lots of it. And you get your HVAC controls in the back, vents in the roof, which is cool. Sort of something you don't see a ton of in vehicles outside of, say, minivans. So I like the fact that it's in here and you get air coming at you from up top as opposed to just below your feet. You get a little bit of ambient lighting, etc. And of course you get power. You get what is it down there? I can't see. You get 12 volt and a full plug, which nobody can see. It's so dark today, I apologize. One thing you also get, just like in the Palisade, are these charging ports here in the seats, which I greatly approve of. I think that's actually convenient access. So I like that. Really, really nice. And that's it. The captain's chair. Sorry. Oh my God. I almost forgot the most important part. So we get captain's chairs in this particular trim level, and it's the right way to do it. I'll keep saying it until they take me off the internet, but I love 2 rows of captain's chairs, front and back. It makes the 4 seats, the primary 4 seats, very comfortable, very useful. So I love the fact that these are here, and I would expect that every single time I bought a vehicle like this. All right, we are inside front seats of the Kia Telluride. So we get the sort of standard Hyundai dash setup. It's all digital, so you get this huge panel but you get 2 separate screens. They're both about 12 and a bit inches. In this one, you get your tack, your speedo, etc. Then you get some driver information that you can switch up in the middle there. Otherwise, it's relatively fixed, which is kind of nice, as opposed to the infinite options that you get in some other cars. So, and it's really nice to, when you thumb through the driving modes, etc., it changes and sort of gives you a little bit of a light show, which is nice. I dig that. That's cool. Again, very consistent with the rest of the Hyundai Kia lineup. You also get one thing I won't do while I'm driving because I always forget, but you get turn signal cameras. Love these. See them in many Hyundais. I don't drive as many Kias as I do Hyundais, but I'm really happy to see them here. I think it's a wonderful piece of equipment, and I swear should be standard across all manufacturers. Absolutely love it. Fantastic stuff. All right, so we also get a heads-up display. It gives you your speedometer, tells you about blind spot, is somebody sitting in your blind spot, etc. You probably can't see it, sorry about that, but it is there, and it is very useful. It's easy to see, and the adjustment controls are here. You also get your tow controls, hill descent, and traction control down here. And then the steering wheel, very standard sort of Kia Hyundai steering wheel. You get your telephony controls and your audio controls on the left. You get your cruise control stuff on the right. Horn in the middle, as usual. Infotainment. All right, so we'll get it out of the way first. It has CarPlay and Android Auto, but it is like so many Hyundai products. It's wired. I don't know what the problem is. It's a technical thing. It's a licensing thing. I don't know. There's something going on there, and they're not telling us what it is or why. But outside of that, it's a fantastic system. Touchscreen, of course, so you can hit this is the native navigation, etc. You can split the screen here. We've got it between navigation and whatever your media is, etc. And then every other function that you can imagine. We won't go through them all today. One thing that Hyundai largely does very, very well are your HVAC controls. Everything in infotainment is on the screen. Outside of that, everything else is a button or a dial out here. So we've got various audio controls, etc. in this strip here. Again, buttons and knobs, and then buttons and knobs for the HVAC right below that. It's really cool. I like it a great deal. It is fantastic. You know, it's I just can't stand it when it's all integrated into there. Unfortunately, in this car, it's not. So that's great. They've moved the heated and ventilated seats, it must be said, up here. The controls up here on this sort of console pillar thing, which is cool. I like the positioning of it. It's a little funky. And you also get a holy crap handle here, which I like a lot. Sometimes reaching up here, although this is the right place to put the normal holy crap handle. I don't like it on the A-pillar so much. I like having one here and one here. Preferably you should keep a hand on the steering wheel, I suppose. But for the passenger in particular, it comes in very, very handy. So we have, as you can see from my phone there, a wireless charging pad. We've got 12 volt, we've got USB regular, USB-C. It comes covered with piano black. Leave it open so it doesn't get scratched. And yeah, that will sort you out well. The shifter, you get an actual shifting knob in the Telluride. In the Palisade, you get buttons, and that's kind of nice actually. I've always enjoyed a shifter, sort of elbow on the console, hand on the shifter, you know, etc. It's cool. I like it. You get your sort of regular cup holder arrangement. The cup holders in the Telluride are nowhere near as sophisticated and cool as the cup holders are in the Palisade. Sort of a weird omission, but nevertheless, there it is. Down here, you get driver controls. So you switch between modes with a dial. Your auto on-off, auto hold, e-brake, cameras, parking, park distance control, etc. That's all right there. And then we get into the center console, which is quite large. It's a big center console. It's got some power in there, and which is great. And that's really about it. So this one comes with terracotta brown leather, Napa leather. The leather itself is of a decent quality. It's funny how one Napa leather seems to differ a little bit from another. I'm not sure. Maybe it's just me. But this particular one's fine. I don't care for this color. I find brown, I don't know. It's give me red any day. So this brown, it's not hideous. When they first started doing brown again about 10 years ago, I was like, oh man, brown? I don't know. It looks a little too much like when I had little babies. But anyway, this isn't so bad. It's okay. You can get it in, I believe black is the other color, and that's certainly what I would go for. But again, different strokes for different folks. We do get a 2-panel sunroof, one panel here and then one in the back. And I'm not going to open it today because it is raining. And the one final thing I wanted to point out was this trim right here. It's a faux wood trim, of course, like all of them, but this is kind of how you should do faux wood. I like the fact that it's not super glossy and shiny, and it looks classier. It will also, I think, I don't know this for sure, but it feels like it would hide scratches better and probably dust. So, you know, the durability factor of this particular trim will be greater than, say, piano black or something like that. So I like that. That's a good call. We should get to driving, I think. I believe we've covered, oh, almost forgot, holy smokes, the rear view mirror. I feel like I'm on speed today. Did I get drugged or something? Wow, high energy. The rear view mirror. So we have, I can't remember the exact name of it, but this is the Hyundai version of the camera. So you can either have it as a traditional rear view mirror, which you can't see anything out of right now because it is dark, or you flip it up and you get the camera. You can actually adjust as well. You hit this little button and you have two choices. You can adjust the brightness, which kind of works, and then you can adjust the position. This one's kind of cool, actually. You can move it up and down a little bit. Not much, but a little bit. I prefer it a little further down. The only thing that really bothers me about this is it feels a little washed out, especially on my drive out here. It was like you couldn't really see very clearly. Now, I mean, it's raining today and whatever, so maybe that's just the way of it. Maybe the camera's a little dirty, but other than that, I mean, it's a good system and I like it. I see it in lots of cars and I use it all the time. So I much prefer that to sort of the standard backup camera most of the time. All right, now that we've covered that, it's time to drive. The thing that strikes me immediately about the Telluride is how smooth it is. It's a vehicle that comes with an appropriate amount of power, torque, etc. for what it is, and the whole vehicle seems to be designed to be smooth, and they've achieved that. It's a it's a very pleasant driving experience without being particularly exhilarating or thrilling. And I suppose that's the point. I mean, it's not exactly a sports car, is it? So let's lean into what we're good at, which is comfort and smoothness. All 2023 Kia Tellurides come with the same 3.8 liter 6-cylinder engine that you got in the previous generations. That's unchanged. It's also the same 8-speed automatic transmission that still gives you 291 horsepower and about 262 pound-feet of torque. All of that goes through the all-wheel drive system, which is standard on this vehicle across the range. You cannot do front-wheel drive, which I think is a really wise choice. Anybody who watches my videos regularly knows how much I love all-wheel drive, and I love to see how many cars are simply coming standard with it now, as opposed to having to pay for it as an optional extra. So I don't know if the seats that you get in the Telluride are any different than the seats you get in the Palisade. The ones in this Telluride, though, do seem a little harder, a little firmer, a little less comfortable. It might just be my imagination, but they don't feel as good as the seats felt in the Palisade. So who knows? I'll have to look into that, but I did want to point it out because they are not quite as comfortable as I was expecting them to be. One thing that is very effective about these seats are the heaters with a little control here down to your right. 3 settings, of course, as is standard. Sometimes the seat heaters are, you don't even notice they're there. Sometimes, other times they burn your ass off. And this one, if you leave it on the 3rd setting, will burn your ass off. It's very, very effective and useful. The heated steering wheel control, which is right there, and I've just turned it on, is exactly the same. It only has 1 setting, and if you leave it on for long enough, it will get uncomfortably warm as you're driving. So the 2023 Kia Telluride starts right around $52,000 Canadian. This test model, the X-Line, excuse me, comes in right around $59,000, 60 grand, and that's pretty much top shelf. You can pay a little bit more for the X Pro, but yeah, this is effectively a top shelf model. It came as a bit of a surprise to me, but Kia actually outsells Hyundai in Canada. Not sure where the Canadian preference for Kia comes from, as the vehicles do bear similarities to each other, but there are key differences. And the key differences between, say, this Kia Telluride and the Hyundai Palisade would actually have me buying the Palisade. I prefer the Palisade. It's missing, the Telluride, pardon me, is missing some key pieces of equipment, specifically the powered 3rd row, because you're going to use that quite, I do anyway, use it quite a bit, up and down, up and down. It's not always for seating, but you're utilizing it for cargo space, etc. And to be able to put it up and down with ease from the back is really useful. I truly do find that a very functional piece of equipment. The cladding on the outside of this vehicle, the Telluride, the bare plastic, That's a pet peeve of mine. I can't stand how much bare plastic manufacturers are putting on cars these days. I can only assume there's a rational explanation as to why. There's got to be a cost savings associated. I don't care. The Palisade has fully painted fender flares, and it just looks so much better for it. And then finally, there's the remote smart park assist. I think I got the name right. That comes with the Palisade. You know, you can pull it out of tight parking spots with your remote control. I love that. I've used that system numerous times. Not at Costco, they have nice wide parking spots, but everywhere else you go, you know, and I say it over and over again, parking spots get bigger or smaller every year, vehicles get bigger. A system like that makes a lot of sense. It truly does. And to have it available it is available for this car, or it should be available for this car, and it's not even an option, it puts me off, to be honest. So for me, the Telluride falls a little short, and I would absolutely go Palisade. All right, my friends, well, that's going to do it for us today. Thank you very much for watching the video. I truly appreciate it. Thank you to everyone who's subscribed. And if you haven't subscribed, you know how it works. Hit the button, smash the bell, and you'll know when the next video is up. I hope you guys have yourselves a very great day, and take care of yourselves, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers.